Over the past month and a half, I've been working on the sniper rifle, completely on my own, from initial idea to final render. The concept design, shape and internal logic of the weapon were all created from scratch. I didn't just want to make a cool model, I wanted something that would feel functional and believable in a sci-fi world. During this time, I went throughout the entire pipeline: high poly, retability, UVs, baking, texturing and rendering. Most of the time was spent fine-tuning small details, refining the materials and finding the right balance between technical cleanliness and visual clarity. Now I'll show you how it came all together step by step. It all started with a simple sketch on paper. That was the first step in exploring the overall shape. Then I moved into Blender, added a human model for scale and started blocking out the primary forms using basic primitives. At this stage I focused on proportions, general layout and the overall silhouette. Unfortunately, I started recording the process only towards the end of the high poly phase, so I can only show early developments throughout screenshots, but they clearly reflect the progression from rough shape to the final silhouette. The second stage was the creation of the high poly, and that's where the most complex and time-consuming part of the project began. It took nearly a month. I moved on from the blockout and began building the final shapes, working throughout the construction and layering in technical details. Many components were designed along the way. I experimented a lot, added and removed elements, adjusted the logic and mechanics as needed. I had to constantly revisit proportions, tweak geometry and balance it between realism and visual style. This is when the model really began to take shape, but a lot of technical work still lay ahead. The third stage was retopology. Instead of traditional low poly, I went with a mid poly approach, preserving key forms and details without overloading the geometry. This setup provides flexibility. The model can be used or further optimized depending on project needs. I paid close attention to clean topology, proper support edges, shading control and smoothness across complex areas. The final model came in at around 40,000 polygons, which offer a strong balance between quality and performance. The fourth stage was UV mapping. For the main body I used UDIM setup with 3 tiles to maintain high texture resolution across important areas. All other parts like magazines, wires and rounds were unwrapped separately using standard materials. Textile density was a priority. I manually adjusted most layouts, ensuring consistent density across all tiles. On the main body, I had to slightly scale down the textile size to fit within the UV space, but I did it carefully enough that the difference is visually imperceptible. Most of the unwrapping was done manually to maintain control over seams, packing and resolution. It took time, but the result was worth it. The fifth stage was baking, and here I squeezed out everything I could. I baked 2 versions of normal maps, one with smoothing and one without, to preserve both sharp and rounded details. Then I combined them manually in Photoshop using masks to keep the best of both and avoid losing any important form information. Additional maps like AO, curvature, thickness and ID were baked in both Marmoset and Substance Painter depending on the level of control I needed. This part took longer than planned, but the final result paid off: clean bakes with no artifacts and solid high poly form retention. The sixth stage was texturing in Substance Painter. After preparing all the baked maps, I built the materials by hand, using everything available: anchor points, baked masks, paint layers and manual corrections. Each material, metal, plastic, rubber, glass, was created from scratch, with a focus on balance between realism and visual clarity. For the scope, display and temperature sensor, I designed the graphics in Figma, then applied them to the model via alpha maps and projections, giving crisp, clean interface visuals. Special care was given to story-driven wear and tear. Dirt built up, edge wear and scratches were all placed logically by hand, not with global generators. As a result, the model holds up well under close inspection and renders cleanly from any angle. The seventh and final stage was rendering in Marmoset. I didn't overcomplicate the scene, just lightly tweaked the lighting setup and in some shots used additional spotlights to highlight specific parts. My main focus was on camera and composition. I tried to find angles that clearly showcase form, materials, and technical details. I enabled ray tracing, adaptive sampling, and all available filters to get a clean, noise-free result with high clarity. In the end, I rendered out a large series of shots, both full views and focused close-ups. The project became a milestone for me. I brought together everything I've learned over the past few years. Every stage, from the first sketch to the final render, was approached deliberately and with full attention to detail. Here I combined my artistic vision and technical skill to push for the highest quality I could achieve. It was a major step forward and I'm proud of what came out of it.